So the rate sheet that I send is the opposite of desperation. And it's basically a take it or leave it approach. I don't really leave room for negotiation. And I think clients appreciate the fact that they see in one sheet what they are getting as soon as I send it. There's no chicanery. I'm not going to upsell them. Everything they want is right in front of them. And it almost sends the message that I don't have time to bother negotiating. So if you're going to hire me, shit or get off the pot. You know what I mean?
I
And
love it, dude.
I thought that I would lose bookings like crazy by taking that approach, and the opposite happened. I've been too busy ever since I sort of started doing that, because I used to do the whole protracted. We're going to do 15 emails to get to the
Yep.
bottom of what you actually want. How are you going to license them? Where are the photos going to show up? Who's going to be there? How much retouching? And now I don't have time for this anymore. And so
You're
I just put it all in one 5-page email, and I'm like, it's a PDF, sorry. And I just send it to every new inquiry. I don't care if they're like, can we get on a phone call? I'm like, nope,
yeah.
take the rate sheet.
Yeah. No, I mean, but you have the luxury of doing that right now, right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a luxury. I think it
it
would
totally
literally
is,
help
dude.
everyone to just
No,
sack up
no. That
and
okay, so
I just want to provide clarity, and that is my way of doing it.
so for if someone is a budding photographer, like in our sales training courses and stuff, like you're talking about someone that is starting out, and I don't care if they're a photographer, a cinematographer, a planner, a whatever it is. When you're just starting out, you have a decent portfolio, you have enough skill, you are going to get far more bookings by getting somebody on the phone and actually selling them. But
Do you think that the budding photographer has the business skills to upsell on the phone yet? Do you
well,
think they're going to be confident in what they're talking about, confident enough to
well, that's what we
perform
teach
the
them.
art of the deal on the phone?
That's what we teach is that sales aspect of how to do this over the phone. But the problem is you have the luxury of being able to do that now in your career because you have a huge number of inquiries coming in. B, you have a huge body of work and a relatively straightforward process where someone goes, if I hire Mike, this is kind of what I'm getting. And C, you got plenty of money in the bank where if 80% kind of say no, but I can guarantee you from a number standpoint, if I get on the phone versus don't get off the phone, I could turn your 80% number into like you're booking 20% right now, right? If I get on the phone, I could reverse it. If I get on the phone with somebody, I could book
You want to
80%.
be my agent?
But so that's what I'm saying is like you're in a point in your career where like that becomes very much what you should be doing. But if you're just starting out and people are comparing price points, like so let me, from my standpoint, the reason that this works for Mike Kelley is because you're freaking Mike Kelley, dude. You have the book, you have the education, you have the reputation, you have the body of work. But if you didn't have that stuff, let's say that if your work was just comparable to that of another professional person, right? And the only thing that the client can really differentiate is just price points, and you fire off a price sheet via email, they're going to make their decision purely off the number on that price sheet.
What about this? What if I told you, like Neo in the Matrix here?
What if I told you?
I feel like the number one thing that the rate sheet does is provide clarity and understanding. And I feel like so many photographers, maybe some are wonderful on the phone, you may be, they're not able to provide, and not just photographers, but graphic designers, web designers, you name it, any kind of artistic, what you need to do, because you're providing sort of a dubious service, not dubious but in a bad
Dubious.
way, but like
I don't think that word is ever used in a good way. When is that word used?
it is not a measurable thing that we are providing. We're providing
Yes.
art. We're not providing 7 linear feet of fabric. We are providing something that might, the client hopes, be good enough for what they need.
Yes. Which is
And
my
if
exact
I can
argument of why you
provide
need to be on the phone.
if I can provide as much clarity for what they are getting as simply and quickly as possible, I feel like people will appreciate that very much. I don't think it's an either or thing. I think maybe there are some people who want to get on the phone and chat with you, and I think there are some people who have a negative interest in that, who work a corporate job and they have 75 emails waiting for them and they just want the answer. How much is it going to cost? How long is it going to take? The rate sheet provides that, no BS.
I,
And it might be
I
a different thing. I'm doing B2B. You're doing B2C, right?
Yes, but I still would go back to the reason why. So I would be completely comfortable with that. If you were to send me that rate sheet at this point, like knowing who you are, I would be completely comfortable with that. I would, in fact,
Yeah.
appreciate that because I don't have to get on the phone. But the reason that I appreciate that is because your work, your body of work, and who you are guarantees the result. When somebody is starting out, when somebody is newer to the craft, when they don't have the reputation, and we're talking about something that's subjective, their body of work doesn't guarantee the result.
One of the reasons I came up with the rate sheet was because I am so bad on the phone. I'm the kind of person who a buddy will call me and I'll be like, hey man, I'm moving from Orange County to San Francisco. You want to help me move for a pack of beer? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm there.
This I can attest to.
I concede so much on the phone, and I had potential clients who would be like, well, if I just want a bunch of details, will that be extra? And I'm like, no, man, like we'll just get it there because it'll be easy and I'll have the
Yeah.
camera set up and whatever. But that's like 6 hours of work and then way more post-production. But I'm desperate to get the client, so I'm just selling the farm on the
For
phone.
sure.
I just want them to say yes. So the rate sheet was maybe a way for me to combat myself, to keep myself in check. And it had the added upside. I am convinced, and I don't think there's only one way to do this. And I do think there's a difference between who I'm selling to and who other photographers are selling to. My primary customers are businesses. And if
Yes.
I can spare them the conversation, and yes, you are right in what you're saying that I have the luxury of doing that, but I don't think it's a bad idea for people who aren't great on the phone like me. I never had the
okay.
phone confidence. Go ahead.
With that piece that you said right there, I will agree with you that for the creative professional who doesn't want to learn sales, who doesn't care, who's new to this, and who literally undervalues themselves, for that person, if you have a problem and you're undervaluing yourself and you're like, I can't learn. I love the way that your hair just like moves.
What did I just do to my hair? Good Lord.
Throughout this entire conversation, every time you touch it, it just like holds its own shape. Like it's like a
crazy, yeah.
moldable sand. So
Well, it's saltwater hair. I won't lie.
so for that person that like, you're not good on the phone, you do undervalue yourself, you give away the house with everything. For that person, then yes, 100% a rate sheet is going to be better than hopping on the phone because you're terrible on the phone. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But I think for most, it's a very important skill that they have to learn that are going into the business, and only because of the fact of like, it's really body of work. I mean, if you can be that good, and Mike, you are on a next level type good when it comes to this area, that like you could have created your entire body of work and had that to sell and done your rate sheet and been successful doing that. But I think
What do you think about building your business around your personality? I know earlier we talked about finding your artistic niche to fit your personality, but the great thing about that is you can build a business around to cater to your personality. I hate talking
agree
on the phone, therefore I have pushed it out of the business.
But the other route of that is you hate talking on the phone, so you hire somebody that's good at talking on the phone. The other route of this isn't necessarily that you. So that's why I'm saying that you have the luxury of doing this. Because if I were to say subtract your print sales, subtract your educational revenue, subtract all the other streams of revenue that you have, and you only have architecture, then you probably would want that agent or that person to book you and to get you more gigs, right? Like you, at that point, you would want to increase your conversion rate of all these leads that are coming in because that is your primary source of income. So, but I still think that yes, you do need to build a business around you. So like if you don't like those things, then as quickly as possible, you need to hand those things off.